a heartwarming tale of forgiveness, redemption, and miracles. In this powerful and emotional story, betrayal and heartbreak lead to unimaginable suffering, but forgiveness paves the way for miracles. Wanaa, wronged by her closest friends and her love, harbors revenge but later chooses forgiveness. As she lets go of bitterness, amazing transformations unfold, a mysterious weight condition resolves, a blind boy starts seeing for the first time, and broken relationships are mended. Witness how forgiveness and redemption unlock the door to unexpected miracles, changing lives forever. Welcome to Drama Home. The slopes of Mount Kenya were home to three girls, Anna, Kaana, and Wanaa, who grew up in villages close to each other but led lives that could not have been more different. From the outside, they appeared like close friends, always walking to school together and laughing at each other's jokes, but behind their smiles lay hidden feelings and rivalries. Anna was from a wealthy family that owned a large farm field, known throughout the villages for its prosperity and bounty. Her family was respected, and Anna was always taught to act with a certain poise, as was expected from a girl of her standing. Kaana, on the other hand, came from a middle-class background. Her family ran a small but successful furniture business that kept them comfortable but not overly wealthy. She had a strong personality, and she was known at school not only for her intelligence but also for her talent in sports, particularly running, which she excelled at with ease. Wanaa, in contrast, was from a poorer family, with modest means and little to their name. Despite this, Wanaa had something the others couldn't deny, the beauty that was striking, and a warmth that made her popular among their classmates. Her charm and kindness drew people to her effortlessly, and her presence seemed to brighten even the dullest days. Though Anna and Kaana pretended to enjoy Wanaa's company, the truth was they were both quietly envious of her. The envy was subtle but constant, building up as the girls grew older and more aware of each other's differences. Anna looked at Wanaa and felt a prick of resentment, disliking how much attention Wanaa attracted even though she came from a poor family. To Anna, it seemed unfair that a girl with so little could be so adored, her beauty and popularity overshadowing the wealth and prestige that Anna's family had worked so hard to build. She would never say it aloud, but Anna felt that Wanaa was undeserving of the admiration she received, and the thought simmered in her heart whenever she saw the way people treated Wanaa with such warmth. Similarly, Anna had mixed feelings about Kaana. Although she pretended to appreciate Kaana's friendship, she secretly resented Kaana's academic success and athletic ability. Kaana was naturally talented at running and often boasted about her achievements, topping it off with a laugh that Anna found irritating. Kaana's confidence felt like a constant reminder of Anna's limitations, and the fact that she could not compete with Kaana academically or athletically left her feeling insecure. To mask her feelings, Anna kept a smile on her face, playing the part of a loyal friend while hiding her jealousy deep within her. For Kaana, her own feelings were equally complicated. While she enjoyed Wanaa's kindness and found her friend's beauty captivating, she couldn't quite understand why someone with so little could command such admiration. It seemed to Kaana that Wanaa's popularity should have belonged to someone more deserving. Someone who came from a family of good standing, like hers or Anna's. Kaana told herself that her own achievements in school and sports were more important, and she often found subtle ways to remind Wanaa that she was, in fact, more accomplished. She would casually mention her academic successes or talk about her latest running victories, each time laughing in her unique way, as if to underline her superiority. Although Kaana pretended to include Wanaa and often spoke to her in a friendly tone, there was always an underlying sense of rivalry that she couldn't quite shake. With Anna, Kaana's friendship had its own set of tensions. Kaana was aware that Anna disliked her bragging, but she took a certain pleasure in knowing she could outshine Anna in academics and sports. This awareness led her to playfully tease Anna, feeling a sense of triumph in her friend's silent frustration. Despite the hidden tensions, the three girls continued to walk to school together, pretending that they shared a genuine bond. They laughed together, studied together, and even helped each other with homework, yet each girl's inner thoughts revealed a complex web of jealousy, rivalry, and unspoken resentments. Their friendship became a facade, a performance they put on for the outside world while keeping their true feelings to themselves. Each of them had her own silent battle, struggling with insecurities and pride, yet unwilling to break the illusion of friendship that had been their bond since childhood. In their hearts, Anna, Kaana, and Wanaa knew that their feelings went deeper than simple friendship. They were bound together not by love or loyalty, but by a delicate balance of envy, competition, and the shared knowledge of each other's strengths and weaknesses. The slopes of Mount Kenya watched over them, silently witnessing the unfolding drama that only the girls could truly understand. Towards the end of high school, as the final days of their shared journey neared, the bond that once appeared to unite Anna, Kaana, and Wanaa was shattered in a way that would leave deep scars. Wanaa, whose beauty and kindness had always brought light to those around her, had found herself in love with Gathu, the most admired boy in school. Gathu was athletic, charming, and had a magnetic confidence that attracted the attention of nearly everyone. Wanaa and Gathu's relationship had blossomed since primary school, and for years she believed he was devoted to her. But the closer they came to the end of high school, the more she noticed Gathu pulling away, becoming distant and strangely secretive. She attributed it to the stress of exams and the uncertainty of the future, but one afternoon, Wanaa stumbled upon a scene that left her world spinning. She saw Anna and Gathu in a heated argument near the school sports field. Anna was fuming, her voice laced with anger as she questioned Gathu about his recent actions, specifically about his involvement with Kaana. In a rage, Anna accused Gathu of impregnating Kaana and demanded to know what he planned to do about it. Gathu, flustered and clearly cornered, pleaded with Anna to keep the matter a secret, promising her that he would end things with Wanaa and make Anna his wife. The revelation hit Wanaa like a storm. She felt a wave of disbelief, betrayal, and a hollow ache deep within her heart. It wasn't just Gathu's unfaithfulness that hurt her, it was the knowledge that both Anna and Kaana, the girls she thought of as her friends, had conspired against her. Anna, in her envy, had showered Gathu with fancy gifts, winning him over with expensive watches, clothes, and sports gear that Wanaa could never afford to give him. Kaana, on the other hand, had secretly been involved with Gathu, carrying his child in silence, knowing he was already with Wanaa. The shock of their betrayal stripped Wanaa of all the happiness she once carried, leaving her hollow and numb. Gathu, who Wanaa believed loved her truly, had chosen Anna over her, not because of any real loyalty, but because Anna's family wealth offered him the security and status he craved. In one brutal afternoon, Wanaa watched her dreams crumble, her love dismissed and her friendships revealed to be nothing but lies. To protect his reputation, Gathu quickly broke up with Wanaa, telling her that he was committed to marrying Anna and that his relationship with her had been nothing more than a youthful fling. He was cold and dismissive, and Wanaa could see in his eyes that he had moved on without remorse. Broken, but hiding her pain, Wanaa kept what she had discovered to herself, swallowing the bitterness and betrayal that now festered within her. She watched as Gathu denied Kaana's pregnancy, leaving her to deal with the consequences alone, while at the same time promising Anna a future. The friendships she once cherished became memories she now despised, and she felt an unfamiliar darkness settle in her heart. Wanaa's smile, once her most beautiful feature, faded, replaced by a hardened expression that masked the pain and anger growing within her. She felt the sharp edge of betrayal carve away at her innocence, and a new feeling began to take its place, revenge. Wanaa realized that the people she had trusted most had torn her apart, leaving her to pick up the pieces of her broken heart on her own. The Wanaa that had once walked the school corridors with a warm smile and a kind word for everyone was gone. In her place was a girl who now understood the pain of betrayal and the desire to make those who hurt her feel the same anguish. She vowed to herself, silently and fiercely, that Anna, Kaana, and Gathu would come to regret the day they broke her heart. She would bide her time, keeping her anger hidden behind a mask of silence, and when the moment was right, she would make sure they felt the pain they had so mercilessly inflicted upon her. Wanaa's nights had become restless ever since the betrayal that shattered her heart and stole her happiness. One night, as she lay in the quiet darkness of her small room, she drifted into a strange, vivid dream. She found herself standing in a shadowy forest, surrounded by whispers and the rustling of unseen creatures. From the darkness emerged a figure, its form unclear but its voice cold and commanding. "I am the spirit of revenge," it said, its tone carrying a dangerous promise. "I have seen your pain, Wanaa, and I can feel the anger burning within you. Tell me, how deep is your desire for revenge? Speak your wish, and I will grant it." The spirit's words sent chills through Wanaa, but in that moment, the bitterness in her heart overcame her fear. The faces of Anna and Kawana flashed before her, and she remembered their betrayal, the mockery of her love, and the scars they had left behind. Her voice trembling yet resolute, she spoke her wish: let them feel the weight of their choices. Let their betrayal bear consequences they can never escape. When Wanaa woke the next morning, she was overwhelmed by a strange heaviness. The dream felt too real, too vivid to dismiss. Yet she convinced herself that it was nothing more than her emotions manifesting in her sleep. Life went on, but a subtle unease lingered within her. Months later, whispers of misfortune began to spread. Kawana, who had given birth to a son, faced a heartbreaking reality. Her child was blind and an albino, born with challenges that society around Mount Kenya was unkind to accept. Though Kawana loved her son dearly, she could not escape the weight of pitying stares and the whispers that followed her in the village. It was as if the world had turned against her, magnifying her pain. Meanwhile, Hannah had given birth to a healthy, beautiful baby girl named Thanu. The contrast between their children's fates seemed to fuel Anna's arrogance, and her envy toward Kawana turned into open mockery. Anna made no effort to hide her disdain, often laughing at Kawana in public and ridiculing her situation. For someone who brags about her intelligence, Anna sneered one day, "You'd think you could manage to have a normal child." The cruel words spread through the village like wildfire, and Kawana's humiliation deepened. Wanaa, who heard of Anna's taunts from others, felt her anger reignited. She had thought the wounds Anna and Kawana inflicted on her heart would dull over time, but instead, the pain returned sharper than before. That night, as she slept, the spirit visited her again. "Do you still wish for vengeance, Wanaa?" it asked, its voice like a snake's hiss. Wanaa, unaware that her dreams carried power, made another wish. Let Anna's pride become her burden. Let her laugh no more. She woke once again with an unsettling feeling, but the days ahead would reveal the consequences of her unspoken rage. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary in Anna's life. Thanu, her daughter, grew into a cheerful and active child, her beauty and charm a source of pride for Anna and Gathu. The girl was adored by everyone who met her, and her radiant personality made her the center of attention wherever she went. But as the months turned into years, something unusual began to happen. Thanu's body started to grow at an alarming rate. Despite being a lively, playful child, her size increased rapidly, far beyond what was expected for her age. At first, Anna dismissed the change, thinking it was just a phase or a sign of good health. But soon, it became impossible to ignore. Thanu's weight grew disproportionate, and her once beautiful frame became the subject of hushed conversations and concerned looks. Gathu, who had once been proud of his daughter's charm and beauty, grew increasingly worried. He took Thanu to doctors in nearby towns, hoping to understand the cause of her unusual growth. The doctors conducted tests and offered advice, but none could provide a clear explanation. Thanu remained active and joyful, unaware of the growing concern surrounding her. However, for Anna, the change was devastating. The pride she once carried as the mother of the most beautiful child in the village turned into embarrassment and frustration. Her mocking laughter, once aimed at Kaana, faded into silence as she found herself on the receiving end of pity and whispers. The same villagers who once envied her wealth and status now looked at her with a mixture of sympathy and judgment. Wanaa, watching from the sidelines, felt a mix of emotions. On one hand, she knew she had wished for Anna to suffer, and the sight of Anna's humiliation brought a dark satisfaction to her wounded heart. But on the other hand, she couldn't shake the growing sense of unease within her. Was it truly her wish that had brought these strange misfortunes upon Anna and Kaana? Or was it mere coincidence? As Wanaa observed Thanu's struggles and Kaana's quiet grief, she began to question the depth of her anger and the consequences of her wishes. Yet, the darkness within her refused to let go completely. She had been wronged, betrayed, and humiliated, and some part of her still believed that Anna and Kaana deserved every ounce of pain they were experiencing. Unbeknownst to Wanaa, her journey with the spirit was far from over, and the true cost of her revenge was yet to be revealed. Years passed, and despite the strange challenges they faced, the children of Anna and Kaana grew up with resilience, finding joy and companionship in their daily lives. Kaana's son, though blind and physically different as an albino, became a lively and positive teenager. He navigated his world with a keen sense of awareness, learning to rely on sounds, smells, and touch. The community, once hesitant to accept him, warmed to his kindness and bright smile, and he became well loved in the village. Anna's daughter, Thanu, who had been born healthy and beautiful, remained close friends with Kaana's son. Thanu, too, was full of life and laughter, always lifting the spirits of those around her with her charm. However, the mystery surrounding her rapid growth became harder to ignore as she entered her teenage years. Despite her limited appetite, often eating less than her parents, Thanu's size continued to increase, outpacing her peers in height and weight to an alarming degree. Her body expanded so fast that her usual clothes could not keep up, and her parents were forced to commission custom garments. While she initially laughed off the stares and whispers, Thanu eventually grew tired, struggling to keep up with her friends due to her size. The village was puzzled, unable to understand why such a young girl would be forced into a life limited by a body that seemed to work against her. Thanu's condition worsened over time, and the small adjustments her family had been making were no longer enough. As her weight continued to increase, Thanu's once active lifestyle became more difficult to maintain. She could no longer join the village youth in their games or walk to the market without tiring quickly. Her parents, distressed but powerless to help, took her to local healers who were equally baffled by her condition. "She eats less than we do, yet she grows heavier by the month," Anna would explain, her voice laced with worry and frustration. "Is there no remedy for this?" But the healers, recognizing no sickness in Thanu's body, could offer no solutions. Eventually, Thanu's size became so overwhelming that she could no longer pass through the main door of their house. Her world became confined to the indoors, her interactions with friends and family now limited to brief visits and exchanges. Her once bright personality dimmed as she faced a loneliness and isolation none of them had anticipated. For Anna, the confinement of her beloved daughter brought a painful realization. She was haunted by memories of the times she had mocked Kaana for her son's differences, unaware then of the sorrow and hardship her own family would one day endure. The laughter that had once filled Anna's home was replaced by an uneasy silence as her heart weighed heavy with regret. Thanu, despite her circumstances, tried to remain hopeful, but her body continued to betray her, leaving her feeling trapped within herself. Rumors in the village spread as the mystery of Thanu's condition deepened, some saying it was the work of fate, others murmuring about curses and spirits. And though Anna refused to acknowledge it openly, she could not help but wonder if Thanu's burden was connected to Wanaa, the girl she and Kaana had hurt so deeply in their youth. Thanu's life had become a silent testament to Anna's past mistakes, and she was left to face the consequences of her choices alone, bound to the sorrow she had once caused in others. For years, Kaana had lived with a heavy heart, burdened by the memory of how she and Anna had betrayed Wanaa during their high school days. The pain of raising her son, Nanu, who was born blind and an albino, often felt like a punishment for her past actions. Though she loved her son dearly and admired his cheerful resilience, Wanaa couldn't shake the nagging thought that her suffering might be connected to the hurt she had caused Wanaa. The guilt festered within her until one day she decided she could no longer bear it. Gathering her courage, she decided to visit Wanaa, who had become a quiet and reserved woman in their village. Wanaa knew she had no right to expect forgiveness, but she hoped that speaking her heart would bring some peace to both of them. When Wanaa arrived at Wanaa's modest home, she was welcomed with warmth, though the unease in her own heart made her feel undeserving of the kindness. Sitting together over cups of tea, Wanaa poured out her soul, apologizing for the betrayal and cruelty she had shown in their youth. Her voice broke as she admitted how deeply she regretted the pain they had caused. Wanaa listened patiently, her expression calm. When Wanaa finished, Wanaa gently told her, "Wanaa, I forgave you long ago. Holding on to anger only burdens the soul, and I wanted to be free of it. What happened to your son, Nanu, is not your fault. These things can happen to anyone." Wanaa's words brought tears to Wanaa's eyes, but for the first time in years, they were tears of relief. The two women spent the rest of the day reminiscing about their school days, sharing laughter and memories of simpler times when their friendship was genuine and untainted by jealousy or rivalry. By the time Wanaa left Wanaa's home, she felt a renewed sense of joy. She had gained back a friend she thought she had lost forever, and she carried with her the knowledge that forgiveness was possible even for the gravest of mistakes. As the days turned into months, Wanaa found herself sinking deeper into sorrow over her daughter Tanu's mysterious condition. Tanu, once the most radiant and active girl in the village, had been forced to spend her days indoors due to her inexplicable, excessive growth. Despite the confinement and limitations placed on her life, Tanu remained joyful and talkative, her laughter a rare light in Wanaa's heavy heart. But for Wanaa, each day felt like a reminder of the mistakes she had made in her youth, especially the betrayal of Wanaa. She often wondered if her suffering now was connected to the pain she had caused her former friend. After hearing of Wanaa's visit to Wanaa, and learning that Wanaa had forgiven her, Wanaa grew hopeful. She decided that no matter how painful it might be, she needed to see Wanaa, to ask for forgiveness face to face. There was nothing left to lose, and she hoped that speaking the truth would bring peace to her heart and perhaps even to Tanu's troubled health. The next day, Wanaa made her way to Wanaa's modest home, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. When she arrived, she was surprised at the warmth in Wanaa's welcome, as if no bitterness lingered between them. Overcome with emotion, Wanaa knelt before Wanaa, begging for forgiveness and pouring out her regrets about the betrayal. Wanaa, though taken aback, gently helped her to stand and assured her, "Wanaa, I forgave you long ago. I couldn't hold on to that anger without it destroying me. Tanu's condition is a painful mystery, but it could just be a rare medical issue, something that has nothing to do with our past." Wanaa felt a wave of relief as Wanaa's words washed over her, softening the guilt she had carried for so long. The two women spent the entire day reminiscing, recalling their school days, the laughter, the innocence, and the dreams they once shared. By the time Wanaa left Wanaa's home, she felt a renewed sense of joy and lightness. She realized that forgiveness was more powerful than she had ever imagined, and that in regaining Wanaa's friendship, she had also found healing for herself. As she returned home, Wanaa held close the knowledge that even the deepest wounds could be mended, and she embraced the peace that came with letting go of the past. When Wanaa returned home from her visit with Wanaa, she felt a weight lifted off her chest. She shared the experience with Gathu, explaining how Wanaa had warmly welcomed her and offered forgiveness without hesitation. Wanaa urged Gathu to visit Wanaa himself, reminding him of the betrayals they had both been part of and the need to right the wrongs of their past. Gathu was reluctant at first, his pride and shame clashing in his mind, but Wanaa's words stayed with him. After 2 days of deep thought, he finally gathered the courage to go to Wanaa's home. Wanaa welcomed him kindly, as if she had been expecting him, and the two sat down to talk. Gathu wasted no time expressing his regret for the pain he had caused her in high school and asking for her forgiveness. But Wanaa's response left him stunned. "Gathu," she said calmly, "I forgave you long ago, but I've always known your secret. I know how you denied Kana's son, Nanu, and left her to struggle alone. If you truly want to make things right, go to Kana and apologize, not just to her, but to your son. You owe it to both of them to make amends." Gathu felt a pang of guilt at Wanaa's words, realizing the truth he had been avoiding for years. He left Wanaa's home and headed straight to Kana's, determined to confront his past. When he arrived, Kana was surprised but wary, unsure of his intentions. Gathu knelt before her and Nanu, tears streaming down his face as he admitted his mistakes. He begged for their forgiveness, apologizing for denying Nanu and for abandoning Kana when she needed him most. Nanu, though shocked, listened quietly. His shock turned into disbelief when Gathu revealed that Tanu was his half-sister. The revelation unsettled Nanu, especially as he had begun developing feelings for Tanu. Gathu's heartfelt apology, however, broke through the tension. While Nanu struggled to process the truth, Kana, who had longed for closure, accepted Gathu's apology. Gathu promised to make amends by being a part of their lives moving forward. Later, Gathu informed Tanu about Nanu, and though she was equally shocked, she was overjoyed to learn that she had a brother. When Gathu returned home and shared his experience, Anna was astonished by the transformation in him. For the first time in years, she saw a man willing to take responsibility for his actions. Then she felt a glimmer of hope that their family, despite its flaws, might find healing after all. 2 weeks had passed since Wanaa's heartfelt conversations with Anna, Kaana, and Gathu. For the first time in years, she felt a profound sense of peace. Her nights, once plagued by sleeplessness and restless thoughts, were now restful and calm. The weight of revenge, which had lingered in her heart for so long, seemed to have disappeared entirely. Wanaa believed this transformation had occurred because she had genuinely forgiven those who had wronged her. It was as if the dark spirit of revenge that once haunted her had given up, no longer able to feed on her bitterness. Wanaa's newfound freedom brought a lightness to her steps and a joy to her days. She spent more time smiling, laughing, and even visiting old friends. The past, once a painful reminder of betrayal and loss, now seemed like a distant memory, replaced by the hope of new beginnings. Meanwhile, Anna and Gathu noticed a surprising change in their daughter Tanu. The mysterious growth that had confined her to the house seemed to have stopped. For the first time in years, her weight began to stabilize, and little by little, she started to slim down. The change was subtle at first, but it soon became undeniable. After another 2 weeks, Tanu shocked her parents by walking outside through the main door, something she hadn't been able to do in months. Tears welled up in Anna's eyes as she watched her daughter step into the sunlight with ease. Gathu, too, was overwhelmed with emotion, feeling as though their family had been given a second chance. Tanu, smiling brightly, hugged her parents and told them how happy she was to feel the breeze on her face and the grass beneath her feet again. Kaana had also noticed something unusual in her son, Nanu. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, she saw him pick up a glass of water with ease. At first, she thought nothing of it, assuming he was relying on his sense of touch as usual. But when she later saw him walk to the water dispenser, pour water into the glass, and stop just before it overflowed, Kaana froze in shock. "Nanu, how did you do that?" she asked, her voice trembling with disbelief. Nanu looked at her, confused by her reaction. "What do you mean, Mom?" he asked. "How did you know the water was about to fill the glass?" Kaana repeated, her heart racing. Nanu hesitated for a moment, then decided it was time to share his secret. "Mom," he began, 3 weeks ago, I started seeing faint light, just shapes and shadows. I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure what was happening. But this morning, when I woke up, I could see clearly with one eye. It's still black and white, but I can see." Kaana's eyes filled with tears as she processed Nanu's words. She could hardly believe that her son, who had been blind his entire life, was beginning to see. She hugged him tightly, sobbing with joy. "Oh, Nanu, this is a miracle. I can't wait for the day when you see everything clearly, in color, and when you see my face for the first time." Nanu smiled, his heart filled with gratitude. He had been waiting for this moment, too. His vision wasn't perfect yet, but it was improving day by day. For him, the world was opening up in ways he had never imagined, and he couldn't wait to experience it fully. The changes in Wanaa, Anna, Kaana, and their children didn't go unnoticed in the village. People who had once whispered about curses and revenge now marveled at the blessings unfolding in their lives. Wanaa, who had lived with sorrow and anger for so long, became a source of wisdom and hope for others. She shared her story of forgiveness, emphasizing how letting go of grudges had not only healed her heart but also brought unexpected peace to those around her. Anna and Gathu, too, embraced their new lives with gratitude. Watching Tanu regain her independence and happiness brought them immense joy. Gathu was silently moved by the changes in himself, realizing that the journey to seek forgiveness had not only repaired old wounds but also restored his family's unity. Kaana, meanwhile, found herself filled with hope as she witnessed her son's gradual transformation. Nanu's newfound vision brought a sense of wonder to their home as he described the things he could now see: shapes, patterns, and faint outlines. His determination to fully regain his sight inspired everyone around him. Tanu, thrilled to learn about her brother, bonded quickly with Nanu, and the two became inseparable. They shared stories, dreams, and laughter, bridging the gap that years of secrets had created. The families, once fractured by betrayal and pain, now felt whole again. Though their journeys had been difficult, they had emerged stronger and more united. Forgiveness, they realized, had been the key to unlocking their happiness and freeing them from the burdens of the past. Together, they looked forward to brighter days, grateful for the second chances life had given them. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of courage, sacrifice, and the power of true love. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more epic adventures, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more stories from Drama Horn.